My question is pertaining to Mormonism.
Yes.
I listened to your most recent podcast on false preachers.
Yeah.
Specifically, when I talk to a Mormon, I have some great engagements with some good friends of mine who are Mormon. Any type of contradictions I bring up with the Bible as the base of that contradiction, they usually respond with, well, that's your interpretation, and you are a flawed human being, so you could have a flawed interpretation.
Okay, stop right there. When somebody says you must be wrong because you're a human being, you could say, well, then you must be wrong about this because you're a human being.
Correct.
Right?
Yeah.
See, it's self-defeating to say, true, human beings do err, but human beings don't always err. And by the way, there are a lot of inerrant books out there. It's not just the Bible. Most kids' books are inerrant, right? See socks run. 2 + 2 = 4, right? There are a lot of inerrant books. So the idea that men must always err is false. Men often err, but not always err. So that would cut against the other person just as much as it cuts against you.
So it's a self-defeating argument.
Yes.
And then if they say that it's my interpretation of the text, which...
it certainly is my interpretation, but that doesn't mean mine is wrong. What is your interpretation? And let's use the best information we have to discover what the text really means. Because, look, if any of you are Christians in here, or Mormons, whatever, and you're in a Bible study, and someone says, hey, Jordan, what does this verse mean to you? You know what you ought to say? Doesn't matter what it means to me, okay? It matters what it means in the text. I don't want to read my word. I want to read God's word, okay? So you're trying to get what the meaning of the text is. And for that, you've got to do some digging. You've got to try and discover what the text is. It's not just my interpretation or your interpretation. It's trying to discover what's in the text. So you just use the best tools you have and then try and discover what the text means. But here's a question that you might ask somebody, whether they're a Mormon or whether they're an atheist or Muslim, whatever they are. The question I would ask is, if historic Orthodox Christianity were really true, would you become a Christian? And see what they say. Now, somebody could reverse that and say, well, if Islam is true, would you become a Muslim? You have to answer that question. But here's the reason I don't think Islam is true, okay? Yeah. Here's the reason I don't think Mormonism is true. Here's the reason I don't think Buddhism is true. Here's the reason I don't think Hinduism is true. Here's the reasons I do think Christianity is true. The question is, are we going to follow truth? That's the question.